Hi, welcome to my video on the review of the composition of functions. And as in all reviews, treat it as a quiz, and you can give a mark or marks for each question that's correct, or part marks, total of each page. And in this review, the total is 45 that you can convert to a percentage. Here we go. Which one below is a function? And again, the definition of function is for each x, there's exactly one y. So notice x is repeated here. So that means for each, when x is 1, there's 2 values for y, so it's not a function. Or if we do a vertical line test, take the point 1, 3 right here, take the point 1, 4, which is, let's say here, if you draw a vertical line to pass through 2 points, so it's not a function. Number 2, x is negative 1, 0, and 2. X is not repeated, so this is a function. And the quickest way to show it, this one is not a function, is do the vertical line test. It passes through 2 points, so it's not a function. So B is the answer. Give yourself a mark. State the domain and range of this function. And notice we have a vertical asymptote here, x equals 3. We have a horizontal asymptote, is y equals negative 2. So the domain is the x values, a set of all x's such that x is not equal to negative 3, where x belongs to the reals. The range is the y values, set of all y such that y is not equal to, I said not equal to negative 3. Notice that's a 3, not negative. And right here, y is not equal to negative 2, where y belongs to the reals. So if you have x is not equal to 3, y is not equal to negative 2, give yourself a mark each. State the domain of f of x. Notice that it's the root here. So 4 minus x has to be greater than 0. And notice we can't say equal to 0 because division by 0 is undefined. So what's inside the root got to be greater than 0, and greater than 0 and equal to 0. We can't have equal to 0 because it's a fraction. So solve this. Negative x is greater than negative 4. Divide by negative 1. X is less than 4. If you have x is less than 4, give yourself a mark. F of x equals 4x minus 3. Find the f of 2x minus 1 minus the f of x. So let's use square brackets. And we go 4 bracket 2x minus 1 minus 3. So 2x minus 1 goes into place of x right here. Subtract the f of x. The f of x is 4x minus 3. So let's simplify inside the brackets first. We get an 8x minus 4 minus 3. And this one is already simplified inside. So we have 8x minus 7, subtract 4x minus 3, and the subtraction you add on the opposite. So to subtract 4x makes it a negative 4x. To subtract negative 3 makes it a plus 3. So that becomes 4x minus 4. Another way to do this one right here is put a 1 here. Minus 1 times this binomial will give you this. And that's a mark, so 5 for the page. Hopefully you have it all right. Let's continue. Number 5. The h of x equals x squared minus 2x. Find the value of x if the h of x plus 1 plus the h of 2x equals 0. Again, we're going to sub x plus 1 into x in the h of x. So here we go. So we have x plus 1 squared minus 2 times x plus 1. And now we're going to do the h of 2x, so we're going to put 2x in both of these x's. So it's 2x being squared minus 2 times 2x is going in the place of x equals 0. Now we simplify the inside of each bracket first, so we'll square this. And and we'll get, we square the binomial, we take the shortcut, we could do FOIL. So x squared is x squared. 1 times x is x doubled. And 1 squared is 1 minus 2x minus 2. And we'll simplify the inside of the next bracket. 2x all squared is 4x squared, and a negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. Simplify each bracket first. So they cancel. So we get x squared minus 1. Add on. 4x squared minus 4x. And we add up, so we get x squared plus 4x squared minus 4x minus 1. We do descending order. This gives us 5x squared minus 4x minus 1 equals 0. So notice we have a quadratic. We can solve it by quadratic formula or by factoring. Let's try factoring. 5 times negative 1. So the product is negative 5. Sum is in the middle, so x, the sum is negative 4. So the factors of 5 are 5 and 1. And we have the negative product, so we have to have positive and negative. So it's a negative 5 and 1. So we got 5x squared. And the 4x is made up of negative 5x plus 1x minus 1. So these are the two factors that replace negative 4x. Now 5x is common, so we take it out. And we take 1 out of these two. So x minus 1 is common, and 5x plus 1. So x minus 1 is the binomial GCF, so we take it out. So that means we have x minus 1 equals 0, or we have 5x plus 1 equals 0. X is 1. 5x equals negative 1 divided by 5. X equals negative 1/5. And that gives us all the answers. And there's 6 marks, so here's how I'm going to assign the 6 marks. So if you did this correctly, you give yourself a mark. If you simplified it to here, you give yourself a mark. If you added all these up and you got to here, you give yourself a mark. If you factored it correctly, to here you give yourself a mark, and each answer is a mark. So 6 marks altogether if you have down to these 2 answers. Now the f of x equals negative 2x plus 3, and the g of x is x squared minus x plus 4. So we've got to find the g of the f of x. So the inside one, you do first, we always work inside. So the f of x is 2x plus 3. So we're subbing 2x, negative 2x plus 3 into g. So that gives us 2x plus 3 being squared minus, now we're going to put negative 2x plus 3 in the place of x plus 4. Again, this is g, so we sub this binomial into the x's here. Done. We're going to square this, and we square again. Take the negative 2x and square it, so we get a 4x squared. Product of these two, negative 6x doubled is negative 12x, and 3 squared is 9. The negative of this binomial is a positive 2x minus 3 plus the 4. And we do add up the like terms, so 4x squared, and negative 12 and 2 is negative 10x, and 9 minus 3 is 6 plus 4 is 10. So 3 marks altogether. So if you have this subbed in correctly, like this, if you have a simplified, perfect, and if you have this, 3 marks. Number 7. Now we got the p of x is x minus 2, the h of x is 2x plus 1, the f of x is negative x plus 3. So find x if the h of the p of x equals the p of f of x. So the h, the p of x, is an x minus 2. And we're doing the p of the f of x. So the f of x is negative x plus 3. So that means we're going to take x minus 2 and put it in h. So there's h. So we're getting 2x minus 2. So we took x minus 2 and subbed it in right here. There it is. P is right here. So we're doing the x, negative x plus 3 in the place of x here. So that's negative x plus 3 minus 2. Simplify each side. So it's 2x minus 4 plus 1. And that's negative x plus 1. So we simplify 2x minus 3 equals negative x plus 1. And we move the x's to the left and the numbers to the right. So we have that's a 4. Okay. So 3x equals 4. Divide by 3, x equals 4 over 3. X equals 4 over 3. And we got 5 marks. So if you have 4 over 3, give yourself 5 marks. If you wrote this down correctly, give yourself a mark. If you subbed it in here, give yourself a mark. If you simplified it to here, give yourself a mark. And so 1, give yourself a mark here. If you simplify this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 marks, 14 altogether. And hope everything is going okay. So just to make sure, yes, everything is all right. It's easy to make a mistake, but just got to concentrate and be cautious. Number 8, the f of x equals 1 over x plus 2. The g of x is x minus 3 over x plus 1. It says find the g of the f of x. So the f of x is 1 over x plus 2. So 1 over x plus 2 is going in the place of x. So that's 1 over x plus 2 minus 3 all over. 1 over x plus 2 is going right here. Plus 1. Again, we took 1 over x plus 2 and subbed it in here and here. There it is. Now we notice we have complex fractions. So the LCD for the top and bottom is x plus 2. So the fastest way to remove the fractions here to simplify is to multiply the top and the bottom by x plus 2. So we'll multiply each part. We'll multiply the top by x plus 2, but we'll multiply each part of the numerator by x plus 2, and we'll do the same on the bottom. We'll multiply each part of the denominator by x plus 2. So we're multiplying the top and the bottom by x plus 2, but we're distributing it through each part. They cancel out, and I get a 1. And negative 3 times x plus 2 is negative 3x minus 6. X plus 2 cancels. 1 times x plus 2. So that's it. That cancels out. So that gives me a 1 plus x plus 2. And that simplifies to negative 3x minus 5 all over x plus 3. Again, it's a composition of functions, but I made it a little bit more difficult having a complex fraction. And that's the fastest way to simplify this, is to find the LCD for numerator and denominator, multiply through, and all the denominators will cancel. So we have 4 marks. So if you have this step, if you have the LCD correct, you get a mark. If you simplify this to here, you get a mark. And if you did the final answer, 4 marks altogether. Number 9, find the domain of the f of the g of x, if the f of x is x squared minus 3, and the g of x is the root of x minus 4. So that's the f of the g of x. So the g of x is the root of x minus 4. Now we have to sub the root of x minus 4 into the f. So that means the root of x minus 4 squared minus 3. Okay, we got it subbed in, and I really didn't need this bracket here, so I put an x minus, the root of x minus 4 here, squared minus 3. This bracket is not necessary right here. When we square this root, we get what's underneath the root, so that becomes an x minus 7. So the g of x is the root of x minus 4. We sub that into here. So we have the root of x minus 4 squared minus 3. Now, this is treated as, you can treat this one as the f of the g of x is like a y. So, to get the domain, we do the domain of the f of the g of x intersection with the domain of the g of x. You get the domain of the answer plus the domain of what you're putting in. So this is a linear, which is a line. So the domain of that is x belongs to the real numbers. All values of x will work in this equation. And the f of the g of x is a root. So this is x. We have an x minus 4. So that x minus 4 got to be greater than or equal to 0. So x belongs to the reals, intersection. X is greater than or equal to 4. So if we look at a number line for this, another way to explain it, or I have it explained, but let's do more work. So this is the number line. So all real numbers, so if we think about it, we can take all the numbers on this number line. There they are, all the values of x. Now we look at, if x is 4, we look at taking x is equal to 4 and greater than. So we're allowed to have all of these numbers and all these numbers, but we're doing the intersection. So the intersection is what's common between these two sets. So the answer is x is greater than or equal to 4. Is the intersection between these two sets, right? This set and this set. And again, it's the intersection, and the intersection means what's common. So I did a graph and showed you by doing this, you can see that this is the answer. And there's 5 marks. So if you subbed it in correctly, you get a mark. If you worked it out to here, you get a mark. If you wrote down this statement to do the intersection, you get a mark. If you did that domain there and that domain there, that's a mark each. And if you did the final answer, you get a mark. So 5 altogether. So 9 for that page. Let's continue. If y equals 2x plus 5 and y equals 4b minus 13 and x equals 4g minus 1, express g as a function of b. So we have now we have 4 variables. We've got to get g as a function of b. So we have a y, we have an x, we have a b, and we have a g. So we have all these variables, but we want to express g as a function of b. That means the y and the x gotta cancel out. So the y and the x are in this equation. So if I wrote down y equals 2x plus 5, y is 4b minus 3, 4b minus 13, sorry. and the x is 4g minus 1. So by taking this equation and subbing in 4b minus 13, taking this equation and subbing 4y minus 1 in the place of x, now we have the y gone and the x gone. We only have the b and the g. So we simplify, 4b minus 13 equals 8g minus 2 plus 5. 4b minus 13 is 8g plus 3. So when we want y as a function of x, g as a function of b, you normally go with y as a function of x. That's normally true in math, but we want g as a function of b. So that means I'll have, when g is a function of b, I'll have g on the left and b on the right. So let's switch it around. And move the 4b over, move the 13 over, and I got 8g equals negative 4b plus 16. Divide by negative 8 into each term. I get g equals 1/2 b minus 2. Now we have g as a function of b. I could have taken this equation and done this. I could have taken this equation and done 8g plus 3 equals 4b minus 13. We can flip both sides around because of the reflexive property. And then we could have solved it like this, which would have still ended up with this equation. There's 4 marks here. So if you did this double substitution here, I gave 2 marks. If you worked it down to fires right here, I gave another mark, and we got the final answer 4 altogether. Number 11. A square pyramid has a perimeter of its base as 24x centimeters. Its slant height is 5x centimeters. Find the volume V as a function of x. So we got a square pyramid, so the perimeter of the square is 24x. We got the slant height, I'm going to call it SH. The slant height is 5x centimeters. And the volume is V. We got to find the volume as a function of x. So it's a square base, so let's draw that diagram. Let's draw the diagram that looks like this. Here we are. So this is the square pyramid. This square pyramid, the base is a square, so that means the perimeter of the square is 4s. So that means if the perimeter is 24x and the perimeter is the 4 sides added up on the bottom, on the base, so that means that 4s is equal to 24x. Divide by 4, and s is equal to 6s. So this side is 6x, this side is 6x, the base is 6x all the way around. Now what happens, because it's a pyramid square, and this peak here drops right down to the, like that, to get the height. There's the height, and draw a line going from this point perpendicular or right on through. This is a half, so this piece right here is 3x, and the slant height comes down through here, so this slant height is 5x. So we have a right triangle. We have a right triangle right here. There's the right angle. So the right triangle is made up of c squared is a squared plus b squared. So the slant height is 5x. That's the hypotenuse of the triangle. A is 3x being squared, and B, not the base, B could be the height, so it's h squared. So that's 25x squared, 9x squared plus h squared. So leave the h squared there, 25x squared minus 9x squared. H squared is 16x squared. So h is plus or minus the square root of 16x squared. So h is plus or minus 4x. So the height can't be negative, so the height is 4x. So we have a volume, we got the height, we got the base. So the volume of a cylinder or pyramid is 1/3 a rectangular solid, so it's 1/3 base area times height. But the base area is a square, so it's s squared. So the side is 6x being squared. The height is 4x. Now these are all in centimeters. 6x centimeters, 4x centimeters. So this works out to be an area of square centimeters and centimeters. So we'll square first to get 36x squared, 4x, and that's a 12. 12 times 4 is 48x cubed. So that's the volume as a function of x. And remember, this is square centimeters and centimeters, so this is centimeters cubed in terms of the volume. So, nice little problem. Again, doing a composite function to put on in terms of when you come out, you have all the volume in terms of x. So the base area and the height is replaced with x. So we have 5 marks. So if you have 1 mark for that one, and if you got the h, if you worked it out to here, down to here on the Pythagorean, you get a mark. If you did the volume formula, you substitute in, you got a mark. If you worked at the final answer, 5 marks altogether for that question, 9 on the page. Okay, let's continue. One more question to end off this review on the composite function. Our right cylinder has a radius of 4 feet and a height of 5 feet. If its radius increased 2 feet every minute, how long will it take for the volume to be 2,000 pi cubic feet? So we got a right cylinder. The right cylinder is like this. And that's the radius. This is the height. And that's the radius. So let's see what information. We've got a right cylinder. The radius is 4 feet. The height of the cylinder is 5 feet. And the radius, the rate that the radius is changing is 2 feet per minute. That's the rate that the radius is changing. And how long is the time for the volume to be 2,000 pi cubic? So we got to find the time. So we have a rate. So the rate distance is equal to rate times time. So the distance that the radius is changing is 2 feet per minute times t minutes. So the minutes cancel. So we're getting 2t. D is 2t feet, or D is 2t. Now, that means that the radius is 4 and is changing 2t feet every minute. So this is the length of the radius in terms of time. Now we have a volume. of the right cylinder. The volume of the right cylinder is the base area. Let's do it this way. Base area times height. The base of a cylinder is a circle, so it's pi r squared h. So we have a volume of 2,000 pi cubic feet. Pi. We have a radius in terms of time, 4 plus 2t being squared. And the height is 5. So we can divide by 5 pi on each side. Pi cancels, 5 cancels. So that means 4 plus 2t squared. And 5 into 2,000 is 400. Pi's cancel. And so that means that we have, if I want to just change it around just for a second, didn't have to. So that means 4 plus 2t, the square root of that is plus or minus the square root of 400. So 4 plus 2t equals plus or minus 20. 4 plus 2t equals 20. We could say 4 plus 2t equals negative 20, but that will give us a negative time, so that one won't work. So 2t equals 20 minus 4. 2t is 16. So divide by 2, I get 8. So the answer is 8 minutes. It will have an area of 2,000 pi. So the answer is 8 minutes. And there's 8 marks for that. So if you did this correctly, you got a mark. If you did this, you got a mark. So each tick here is a mark. If you did your volume formula and you subbed it in and you worked it out, so you just go down through. And if you work that out to get the 2 of these, you got a mark. Oops, mark for these. And if you solve this going right here, you picked up the positive one and then you solved it. So there's 8 marks through here. And that ends the question, but notice beautiful problem working it out in terms of time. And the total of all your pages, come back to the main sheet, put your total over 45 and convert it to a percent. Divide the denominator into the numerator, get a decimal, move your decimal 2 places to the right, and you'll have your score. Hopefully your score is okay. That brings us to the end of this video and brings us to the end of the unit on composite functions. And again, if you like my, click on the like button if you like the video. Click on the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com. Notice one word to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video was of some help to you. Bye-bye.